This bolt is too loose to screw into this block. Here's a quick way to make it secure. We'll cut a notch into the bolt itself and then shave off the edges of another bolt to create a wedge. Now we can put the wedge into the notch. And then we'll hammer the bolt into the stone. This will expand the bolts into the block, making it secure. How about adding a bit of decoration to these drawers? We can square off a log to match the size of the drawers and then cut off a few rounds. Add some glue to the ends of the drawers, place the rounds on top. Add a bit more glue or varnish to the top of the rounds to seal up any pores. This gives us a nice rustic look. We'll be using this log to make a napkin hole. We'll need to cut out a slab and then run it through a planer. This will give us an even edge. We'll do the same with the sides. Now we'll cut this piece of wood into 2 equal lengths. Now we want to cut out a space for the napkins about 3 inches deep in the center of each piece. We'll use a marking gauge to get an even length on each side. Cut out the center and then add tape to the 2 pieces. Add wood glue to hold the corner edges together. Add some varnish and let it dry. Here's a neat way to use your angle grinder as a sander. Start by adding some double-sided tape to the back of a CD. Cut off the excess tape. Do the same to the other side. Now we'll apply some sandpaper to the double-sided tape. We'll do the same and cut off the excess sandpaper. Drill a hole in the center of the CD using a bit that matches the angle grinder. Again, apply sandpaper to the other side and remove any excess. Now we'll secure it onto our angle grinder, tighten it up. Now we can use this just like a belt sander. Our next project is a little tool that'll help us find the center of things. Start by joining 2 strips of wood together with glue at a right angle. Then add another strip at a 45-degree angle on top of the joint. Now we can quickly find the center of this log by making a few marks. We can even use this tool to make circular cutouts. Find the center of this board just like we did before. Then hammer a nail through the board. Now we can hammer this nail into our table saw. And with just a few cuts, we can remove the nail and we have a nice round circle. Our channel is full of videos with tips, tricks, and life hacks. If you want to stay up to date on all the latest videos, then subscribe to the channel. Learning new things is always a great investment of time. And our channel is here to help you finish projects and maximize your workspace. Let's recycle this old plastic container to use as a shield on our bench grinder. We'll put a bracket on one end like so. Now we have protection from sparks. We can make some slits into this plastic tubing and then attach it to a bolt to make a temporary drywall anchor. Now just an extra washer to make it more secure. Our next project is going to be a tool that helps us carve out hex nut indentations. We'll attach it to a bolt like so that it looks like this. Now we can trace out our hex nut and use our tool like a chisel and hammer it into the wood. Now everything fits perfectly. We want to remove this knot from this board. Drill it out, and then use a hole saw to cut out a round that's the same size as the hole that we drilled. Fill this hole with glue and insert the round. In this case, we're using a chisel and then a planer to level the surface. Let's create a tool that helps us easily cut out grooves in our foam panels. We'll drill these two pieces of wood together to make a right angle. Then we'll mount a snap blade to both sides of the tool. Now we can cut out a groove, which prevents a gap between these foam panels. Now we'll be building a bottle opener with a magnet inside out of this log. We'll cut out a plank like so, and then we'll trace where we want the magnet to be. Then using a drill and chisels, we can carve out a hole big enough for the magnet. We'll take apart this clamp and use the metal piece as our can opener. We'll attach it to the side opposite the magnet. Then add a bit of varnish. And now when we open our bottles, the caps stick to the board instead of falling onto the floor. We can cut out a strip of metal from this old can and use it to help us tear off pieces of tape. We'll be printing on a pre-printed image onto this log. We'll want to sand it first, and then we'll cut out the image and glue it onto the log. After soaking in water, we can peel off the plastic adhesive. And what's left on the log is our image. We can use this piece of wood from an old piece of furniture and turn it into a charging stand for our phone. We'll trace out the appropriate size and use a jigsaw to cut it out. Then, a bit of sanding paper to smooth off the edges. We'll use a washer to mark out where we'll cut the 3 holes. The 2 on the ends will be smaller, and the center hole will be larger. We'll install bolts into the smaller holes. These will act as stands. Now we can pass our charger through the center hole to charge our phone. This large plastic bottle will make a really convenient garbage can. We'll mark out most of the top, but leaving a little strip with the cap. It should look like this. Now we can attach it to the cabinet door underneath the sink to easily discard any scraps. If we remove the handle from this large plastic bottle, we can bend the tabs like so. This gives us a quick and easy phone stand. The blades on this grater are getting a little bit dull. To sharpen them, we can use the bottom of this ceramic cup. Good as new. We can also use the bottom of this mug to sharpen any ordinary knives as well. We need to pass some wire through this plastic tubing, and pushing it wouldn't be the best option. What we can do instead is cut out a little circle of foam that's about the same size as the tubing. We'll then pass a string through the center of the foam and fasten it with a knot. Now we'll use the vacuum to suck up the string until it passes all the way through the plastic tubing. As you can see, it's come out the other side. But we're not done. We want to pass the wire through the tubing, not just the string. We'll tie the string to one of the wires securely. Folding a single wire back on itself, and then wrapping everything with tape will ensure that the string doesn't slip off. Now we'll pull the string from the other end to pass it through the tubing. Once it's passed all the way through, we'll cut off any excess wire and tie a simple overhand knot to make sure that the wire doesn't slip back into the tubing. Here's a quick and easy life hack to help you tie your shoes if you're in a hurry. Here we have an ordinary coat hanger. If we cut the bottom rung in half, we can use this coat hanger to hang paper towels and toilet paper. Next, we have an ordinary piece of scrap wood. We can use our jigsaw to cut it into the shape of the letter P. Then we'll hammer a nail onto the top. And we can use our new tool to help us open cans more easily. If you need to remove a nail that's lost its head, try using a pair of pliers for extra grip. Our next project will be building a mousetrap. Don't worry, this one isn't dangerous. Start by cutting out a board that's the same width as the bottle. We'll want to find the balance point on this bottle and make 2 marks on both sides and drill holes where the marks are. We'll attach support beams to both sides of our board. Line everything up and drill 2 holes at the same level onto the beams. Screw in 2 bolts on both beams and put the bolts through the holes of the bottle. Tighten the bolts. The bottle should rock back and forth like so. Now we'll cut out a little ramp. All that's left to do is leave some treats inside the bottle. And our last project of this episode is going to be a bird feeder. We'll connect 2 plastic bottles together. We'll just need to make a couple of holes in the bottles for the bird seeds. We can also attach a popsicle stick to give the birds a place to land. Now we'll just fill the bottles with bird seeds.